Everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today. Excuse me. For those of you who are attending your first Talk Nerdy to Me webinar, this is a Thinking Box and Antisocial's thought leadership platform where we discuss topics across creative and design, technology, content, software, and manufacturing. Presented by Antisocial, a Thinking Box company, we will be covering virtual live streaming today. So, what's live got to do with it? Today's agenda includes an introduction to your presenters, and then we'll be covering why go live, platforms, looking forward, and our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Please feel free to leave your questions in the chat, and we will try to get to as many as we can. So your speakers today are myself, Gisele Fisher, Account Director at Antisocial, along with my colleagues Warren Fenton, Senior Producer, and Daryl Louie, our Director of Creative Strategy. Why go live? As we all know, 2020 saw a major shift in the ways in which we do business in entertainment. Whether it was going into an office on a daily basis, to attending conferences, corporate and community events, to art shows, concerts, and so much more. Events were canceled with the expectation that 2021 would see a return to normalcy. But as we find ourselves in much of the same position this year, Thinking Box and Antisocial have been working closely with our clients to ensure those same events and new ones have a space to live. While many of us have spent the better part of the past year on Zoom, Google Meet, Skype for our day-to-day interactions, and while we're on Zoom right now, there are so many other platforms for each event that are potentially more suitable for the event's requirements. In Q1, we worked on a variety of virtual events for clients and are now in the process of planning Q2 events. Today, we will be taking you through 3 of the events that we've done, along with our platforms of choice and our reasons for choosing them. As written in an article on the subject on Forbes.com this February, the success of live streaming is due in part to the unexpected events of 2020. As social distancing curbed traditionally physical experiences, live streams gave audiences the ability to connect virtually. Warren will now take you through our chosen platforms.
Okay, so thanks, Gisele. So the first thing that you want to do when you're planning some sort of live event is think about which platform you think you might want to use, because this is really going to dictate a lot of how your event is going to come together, as well as how your audience interacts with it. So your platform should be chosen based on a couple of key factors. Will it be a true live, pre-recorded, or some sort of mix of those two things? How do you want your audience to interact with the live stream? Do they text chat with you? Do they video call in? There's a lot of different choices there. And then what sort of device will your audience most likely have access to, as well as where do you already have a following? So you'll want to leverage that when choosing your platform. The other thing too is the subject matter that you're choosing might help you choose a platform. For example, something more corporate or business oriented probably be better suited on LinkedIn as opposed to a YouTube or a more social oriented channel. So we're just going to talk about these 3 channels today: YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and Lobby. But there's also lots of options in those spaces. So for YouTube Live, you could also use a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn Live. For Instagram Live, you could go live on Twitter or TikTok if that's where your audience is. And then Lobby is similarly set up to a Zoom webinar or a Microsoft Teams or Google Meet with a couple of extra features that we'll get into later. So first up is YouTube Live, which Gisele will introduce.
Thanks, Warren. For our first example of a live event, we were tasked with pivoting Oakland Realty's annual sales kickoff into an engaging virtual event while maintaining a human element and ensuring the celebratory feel and sense of community was retained throughout. With such a strong emphasis on community, we needed to ensure that attendees felt as though they were a part of the experience by giving them the opportunity to voice their opinions and their support. Deliverables included run of show, event management, including platform sourcing, live stream management, videography, motion animation, and editing, along with social strategy, execution, and management of a social campaign that included copywriting, graphic design, motion design, and blog writing.
So as you got a little bit of a sense from the previous slide there, the YouTube Live had a couple of requirements, or the client had some requirements for the show. They wanted to maintain a compact run of show overall, just because not everyone has a Justice League length attention span. This also had a lot of awards to deliver. So we wanted to make sure that each person getting an award, which was over 250, had a little moment where they got to celebrate and their community could celebrate with them. We also needed some high quality video streaming, which led us to this platform choice in the first place, as well as some audience engagement capabilities. We wanted to make sure that the audience could speak to each other, celebrate the wins of the achieved year that they had. And then overall, we really wanted to maintain the human experience of joining together to celebrate and recreate as much of the previously live events in person as we could. So YouTube is really great at handling video, so that was a given. It also offered us the opportunity for pre-recording segments, allowing on-camera talent the chance to get their introductions just right. So doing live broadcasting with a script is something that people can absolutely do, but it is a challenging job. And so pre-recording is a nice way to keep a safe choice there. We also had the live chat interaction, just to allow everyone that opportunity to encourage, interact, and celebrate each other. But it actually doesn't interrupt the run of show, which is a nice way to keep your time down overall. Sharing is also really easy. It's just a YouTube link that you can share, and there's no installation required to participate. And YouTube also natively allows for live control during the event. So small adjustments like having an opening slide or a closing slide at different lengths of time to allow people time to arrive and depart of their own accord is really great to create a relaxed feel in the event. And then one more additional bonus is that you can actually embed YouTube Live. So this is something you can host inside of your own website, on a landing page, just to create a branded environment or to push web traffic. So some of these benefits we've spoken about already. You've got the high quality video functionality. We had great results with YouTube Live in this case, having a fully HD session the entire time. And we were even able to make live changes using the back end that we chose. So staying people first, again, allowing for people introducing the awards on screen and our pre-recorded introductions just to maintain that personal feel alongside presenting themed videos during the event. As well, the allowing everyone to chat together during the event was super engaging and successfully retained that community feeling without interrupting the run of the show. And the live management allowed for that flexibility that we did end up needing. A bonus is that you can also schedule YouTube Live events in advance, which will allow you to promote them, let your attendees know well ahead of time how to join, and email links out. But it's not all roses. There were always going to be challenges with whatever platform we chose. So audience interaction is text chat only. So you are a little bit limited there. If you want to have that video back and forth, this isn't the platform for you. And also, if you are embedding the video, it requires a little bit of extra development to retain that live chat. Next up, we have Instagram Live, which Gisele will introduce.
Thanks, Warren. So to bring Urban Fare's Chef Life Shared brand positioning to life, we created an IGTV masterclass style live cook along with one of their executive chefs who prepared a Valentine's dinner for those celebrating at home. Viewers were encouraged to ask questions throughout the live stream and cook along with the chef, with our team facilitating the Q&A process. And through our social campaign, viewers were also encouraged to share their creations and post UGC after the event. Our deliverables included run of show, event management, including platform sourcing, live stream management, videography, and copywriting, along with social strategy and execution that included contesting, motion animation, copywriting, graphic design, and social videos.
Okay, so for Instagram Live here, you can see here the must-haves are somewhat similar to the previous one. We needed that live chat functionality just to allow participants to ask questions during the broadcast for the chef to address. Again, keeping that compact run of show overall just to keep the event moving and maintain people's attention as we went. And quality video to ensure that the chef and food both look great on camera throughout. And back to the QA a little bit, this is something we use to address alternates to the recipe, which is important if you have dietary restrictions or vegetarian options you want to engage with. So the technical approach here, the live chat interaction was really great for Q&A and allowed for a lot of people to ask questions that the chef was able to respond to. The live broadcast also on the Instagram platform jumps up to to the top of everyone's stories section, which allows for an extra little push as far as the algorithm goes and allows for easy viewing, visibility to your audience. Also, a mobile-based platform is really great to use within the kitchen. So it's easier than bringing a laptop in to follow along on. And then the camera can be operated live to follow Chef around the kitchen as he performs different tasks. In this particular case, we hook up to a DSLR for some extra features that we'll talk about in the next slide, but we'll get back to that. And then one of our team members was tasked with managing that live chat itself. So in this way, we were able to communicate questions to Chef Ryan via a teleprompter so that he'd be able to respond to his own time without kind of stopping everything to do that. So the benefits here with this platform, you capture your viewers that are already on Instagram. Urban Fare has a great following there, and that was really good use for us just to be able to drive our followers to watch the live stream. Again, the smaller device size allows for really easy viewing in a kitchen setting. And it's also, Instagram Live is really well suited to mobile production. So this one, we did a little bit more work than we had to, but if you wanted, you can run this just off of a phone. Some challenges though, that we mentioned a little bit before, is it's a little bit more challenging to do a proper audio setup with this particular platform. So if you wanted to wirelessly mic someone, which we did in this case, you have to do a little bit of extra work to make that functional. It also requires a little bit of extra tooling on the back end, just because Instagram doesn't support some of the same tools that other live broadcast platforms do. So it takes an extra step in that regard. And the last thing is that it does convert aspect ratios to the vertical orientation. So if you're using some sort of DSLR or digital camera to run video into Instagram, you have to keep that in mind and make sure you're not framing incorrectly and allowing for as much visibility of your subject matter as possible. And then last on our list today is Lobby, which is a newer one, and Gisele will introduce our event for this.
Thank you. So the last event we'll take you through today is one that is coming up actually on April 8th. For Oakland's annual Women of Oakland event, we were asked to adapt a live community celebration into an engaging branded virtual event with video streaming, panel discussion, and Q&A capabilities. Our deliverables included run of show, event management, including platform sourcing, live stream management, videography, editing, motion design, and Eventbrite setup and management, along with social strategy, execution, and management, which includes copywriting, motion animation, and blog writing.
So for Lobby, the client needs were to have a platform that could offer a little bit more in terms of branding. They just didn't want to do a Zoom video that always presents in the same way. They wanted to allow users and viewers to join their experience in a branded way. They also needed that high quality video streaming. You're going to see that quite a few of the events that we're talking about today, and it's quite important for a lot of our clients. Audience engagement had to be a little bit different for this one too. So for this particular event, there is a panel section, and they wanted to make sure there was a possibility to have live video questions at this time. And then, as I mentioned there, we are looking to do a full-on panel. So being able to bring in speakers and present is really important for this client. So our technical approach here, Lobby is fully customizable. You can change backgrounds, colors, you can even add music. There's a lot of different things you can do with it, and that was perfect for this result. We also had video playback via YouTube links without any playback issues at all. So in a Zoom kind of environment, it doesn't work quite as nicely. There's also a panelist view with multiple ways to address this Q&A section. So you can do this via text chat or via video. And again, no installation required. Easy to attend without any extra tools on your own computer. So the benefits here is the branding opportunities are virtually endless. There's a lot that you can adjust within the app, and it allows you to create a really great experience from top to bottom. You can also add music in the experience to go that extra mile in terms of customizability. And then high definition video playback via YouTube link. It functions really smooth right in the experience, so you don't have to leave to watch any sort of videos. And then the speaker functionality for the presentation use is a really great way to make sure that your speakers get heard and then they can interact with each other. Another couple benefits here is that attendees actually do get a little bit more of an active role in this experience. So choosing their own group to join with inside the event, which is really great and allows for more active experience for them. And you can even have up to 10,000 attendees. So there's potential for really huge events here. And of course, nothing comes without challenges. So the attendees are grouped into rooms, as I mentioned, which is designed to encourage small scale interactions, but it's not optional. So you do have to work within that. Attendees controlling their own experience is not always the best way to go. Sometimes you want to control everything as a presenter. And then there is, of course, a modest cost per attendee on this platform, though this is comparable to an upgraded Zoom account or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet that would be equivalent. And then last thing here is Daryl is going to look ahead with us to share some insights in what we see in the future of live events.
Thanks, Warren. So as we all probably know, COVID-19 was a really big watershed moment for live streaming and live events through digital and through social. For example, in the first 3 weeks of March in 2020, there was already a 25% increase in North America in live streaming attendance, and this hasn't slowed down. One of the newest exciting platforms that encourage live streaming is Clubhouse. Now, Clubhouse, you've probably heard it by now, invite-only platform, over 2 million downloads in January 2021 alone. It is a live audio streaming platform, and it's very much still a startup. It only still has 9 employees, which is mind-blowing. But how it works, it's like a live free-flowing podcast, audio only, that you can jump in and out of on different audio chats on different subjects as you want to hear. One of the cool parts is it focuses so much on the live feature that all of its content is ephemeral, meaning that if you are listening to someone speak about a topic in Clubhouse or having a conversation with someone there, that's the only time you'll be able to hear it. There's no such thing as archive content right now, and I'm really excited to watch this platform grow and watch how brands adapt themselves to the space. Something that Twitter released very recently, excuse me, as well in December 2020 is Spaces, which is a direct competitor of Clubhouse. What Twitter is hoping to do is really leverage its already massive user base instead of having to grow it like Clubhouse does, to adopt their version of live audio over their competitors like Clubhouse. Transparently, it's a better platform when you look at functionality, and currently the Spaces unique features. I say unique with these hand symbols because it's the UX, the experience is almost identical to Clubhouse, except for the fact that your profiles are connected to your Twitter account. Another really exciting part is about live streaming coming up is the live events portion. So we've seen a lot of innovation in live events in 2020. My personal favorite subculture to arise within these innovations was the virtual fan wall and the virtual celebrities dropping into that virtual fan wall that the NBA had in their playoff bubble. It was really cool to see, these virtual fans be blessed by celebrities sitting right next to them, like Jack Nicholson, Lil Wayne, some NBA stars like Chris Bosh and Paul Pierce jumping in, and interacting with the fans on the wall. Out of all of the sporting events that had to adapt, the NBA by far adapted their virtual fan base the best. Contrary to the initial concerns around live and in-person versus in-person events, if you look at live streaming concerts, for example, people who live stream a concert are actually 67% more likely to buy a ticket to a similar performance in the future. This is really encouraging data, along with other points like 45% of an audience for a live stream would pay for a live or on-demand video from their favorite performer or sports team, while 87% of respondents would say that they would even prefer to watch online if there was exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Evolving live streaming features can also offer viewers peripheral content like contests or virtual games that run simultaneously to the live broadcast. This is a really fun part of multi-screen consumption. I'm a big fan of this myself. I don't know how many of you guys are, but if I'm watching a sports or a music event, being able to consume peripheral content at the same time that's matched up to the event or the campaign really increases my experience. This also includes traditional peripheral content, but also more advanced content through VR and AR. With VR and AR and live streaming, a huge bonus is allowing audience members to literally feel like they're part of the action and choose where they want to sit, including, right up on stage or courtside. I use basketball references a lot, guys, because I'm a big basketball fan. I personally am quite excited about some of the most slowest incumbents of the music industry evolving to fit live streaming. So for example, what we saw in late 2020 was classical musicians and their audience have started to really embrace live streaming during the lockdown. And that was really exciting for me to see. And then finally, another really exciting platform feature that's coming to life across all of the previous platforms that Warren and Gisele talked about, but also future platforms to be developed themselves, is the ability for shopping and call to actions to be literally baked into live streams and live events. So imagine you're seeing a live stream of Rick Ross and Drake with, Drake's new song Lemon Pepper Freestyle on a live concert. But then before they're even done performing, you've been presented with the opportunity and you've ordered, the Jordan 11s that Drake is wearing, or the Marc Jacobs sunglasses that Rick Ross has on. We're not there yet in North America when it comes to mass adoption, but live stream innovation and shopping has a significant head start in China. So an example of this is on one of their live platforms called Taobao, during the November shopping holiday, which runs 10 days, in 2020, there was over $6 billion USD purchased through live streams, $6 billion. So this is a feature that we're not quite exposed to on the regular, but we will start seeing a lot very soon. So to kind of sum up looking forward, guys, brands need to really consider adding regular live events to their content strategy. This is a type of content that their viewers and their future customers already adapt and want to see more of. Exploring new platforms with a lot of early adopters like Clubhouse or Spaces, doing it early before the rest of the brand jump on allows for a huge step forward in getting those fan bases before it becomes too crowded. And then finally, considering adding live stream shopping as the innovations reach the platforms that you're most used to. This will be something that by the end of 2021 will be used to and will be a habit that you see wide adoption to across North America. So as we see more and more of our clients pursuing live events, we really believe that we know that this isn't a phase. This is going to be an integral part of most marketing strategies. And with that, I'd love to take the time to open this up to some questions for anyone who wanted to drill down into any of the topics that we covered.
So it looks like we have one from Justin. From the listed platforms, are we able to get reporting or analytics about attendees?
I can take that one. So Justin, depending on the platform, sometimes you can get very granular data, like YouTube is very good for this, where it will tell you when people attended your event, when you had the most people, how many comments per minute, as well as some other data, and that's analytics you can gather after the fact at any time. Instagram offers like a more basic version of this, but you can still see how many people have viewed, as well as some rough comment data. And then Lobby is just ephemeral. So that's one where you're in the platform just to chat as if it were a Zoom meeting like this. You can record it in the same way, but it doesn't really offer much analytics.
So next question from Nav. Which platform will allow me to access the webinar after the live event?
I can take this one too. YouTube Live is the best for that. Although this is an option in the back end, once you're finished live streaming, you can choose whether or not you want to do this. So if you want your event not to be available after the fact, that's a choice that you can make, but YouTube will do that. With Instagram, you can also push a live stream to IGTV after the fact, or record it and post it after the fact as well. Again, with Lobby, it's ephemeral and that will only be maintained if you record it.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed the webinar and we appreciate your time. Have a great afternoon.